On the peaceful world of Ember, the Alliance of Nations prospers, free of scarcity and injustice, a utopia for all. This could all be destroyed when the Galactic Empire invades. All that stands between the Empire and the Alliance are the brave adventurers of the Exploration Corps, searching the galaxy for allies and technology. Power to defend the Alliance. Power to protect Utopia.
So we're live.
Okay, good evening friends and comrades, welcome back to the 5e Frontier. My name is Patrick, I will be your host and GM for today's game of Dungeons & Dragons in Space. Joining me today for this game of D&D, allegedly the world's greatest role-playing game, we have Jordan Chance, firstly.
Hi guys, I'm Jordan. I'll be playing Calidus for this session.
Wonderful. Next up we have Brad.
Hello, yes, I'll be playing Garrett Wilt.
Wonderful. And Simon.
Hi, I'll be playing Rowie Watana, the specialist of the mission.
Wonderful. And last but certainly not least, we have Marat.
Hi everyone, I'm Marat. I'll be playing Zitai, ship mechanic.
Wonderful. Alright, so we will pick up where we left off last time. We had a few technical issues last week. Hopefully they're all resolved. Hopefully we're coming through loud and clear. And we're not a slideshow this time, but we'll pick up where our adventurers left off last time. So, in the story so far, our adventurers, bold space explorers, their ship has been shot down over an unexplored moon around this giant local gas giant. It's unknown what shot the ship down, but lots of people were able to get to escape pods and get off the ship. Unfortunately, at the time, the ship was in the middle of an aerobraking maneuver, plunging through the atmosphere. So the escape pods were scattered, presumably over quite a wide geographical area, and they underwent significant deceleration, significant G-forces. So everybody was knocked out during the descent. Once the characters woke up and took in their surroundings, they found themselves on something akin to a tropical beach. Not long after they were able to figure out their surroundings, they were attacked by a pair of T-Rexes. Fortunately, they were armed with blaster rifles, so they were able to see off the T-Rexes, killing one and injuring the other, with it fleeing through the rainforest beyond the beach. It's a few days after that now. The party has decided to follow the T-Rex into the jungle to try and find something that could be civilization or the rest of the crew, like something, because staying put probably isn't going to help, as they're perhaps 100 or so light years away from the nearest help. So no help is on the way. So it's just a matter of finding anybody else who might have crash landed. Journeying into the rainforest, they were able to find a like an array of these wide game trails that have been made by very large creatures, presumably dinosaurs, given the presence of T-Rexes. While they were following these trails, they came upon an injured ape of some sort. This creature, while quite large and powerful, is surprisingly light and thin, being as it only has to compete with very weak gravity. But they decided to help it. He had a broken leg. He's coming with them now. He's been named Little Drummer Boy. And after they rescued him from an attack from another group of the same species that seemed to want him dead for some reason, the group decided to make their way to high ground. They've spotted this large mountain, very, very steep, very sheer due to the low gravity. But they've made its top smokes like it's a volcano or something like that. Perhaps wreckage about the volcano, who knows. But they're making for this mountain. It seems that the quickest way to this mountain is to cut through a large section of rainforest that doesn't seem to have any of these large game trails. At least from the vantage point they had looking down into the valley. We will pick up the group as you coming to the point where Rewi, the tracker, has identified is probably the point where you want to take a left off the game trail and start moving through the rainforest itself. The rainforest where you are now isn't especially dense. It's been denser on previous days in previous places. The trees are thin and tall in this place, and they have these kind of their root systems begin above ground. These trees, so they're kind of like ropey and veiny towards the bottom, with tendrils splaying out in all directions across the ground. It makes it quite difficult to walk around because there's like raised roots literally everywhere. Like if you were to run through here, you'd have to be very careful not to catch your foot on anything. But other than that, there's like very, very dense ferns close to the ground and quite a few insects in the area. So yeah, as you're getting ready to head off the trail, are there any particular considerations that you guys are taking? How are you going to go about doing this?
I think I'm just I'm following Rewi on this one. He's the survival expert. We're taking his trail towards the mountain through the jungle. I think it's a great idea to skip out the plains, as we'd probably be vulnerable there. But I'm taking good note of what Rewi's doing. He's tall. He's lived in jungles before. He's in his element here.
I think I'd advise all the crew to walk in single file, so we're not making too much of a track, and obviously we won't be as easy to track down if something is willing to do so.
Cool. So as you guys head into the forest, the further away from the trail you get, it seems that the foliage does become denser and denser. And like you're heading down into a valley now, so and you'd note that the ground is becoming muddier as you head further downwards. So it seems that it's very likely that the water probably collects in the basin of this valley. But after about half an hour or so, it does become noticeably difficult to push through. Some of these ferns, like you're coming upon like banks of these ferns that they're very, very dense. Like if you just walk into them, like you can't walk through them. They have to be moved. And they're dense enough that you're having to like rip chunks out of them to pass in certain cases. What approach are you guys taking to clearing the path? Is it just a matter of like ripping the plants out brute force wise, or do you have any a cleverer plan to speed up your progress through the forest?
Have we got any blades?
I think we've still got jagged pieces of metal from the crash. I don't think we have any blades.
The claws from the T-Rex might work if they make like short sword type things. If we spend some time perhaps banding one of those to a hand.
Yeah, fashion a scythe.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so as you guys stop for a few minutes, I suppose, to discuss this, you take one of the long claws of the T-Rex out. Like, it seems that the claw it comes to a point that's quite sharp, but it doesn't really have a blade right now. Looking at the sort of material it's made of, it looks like it could be like the inside of the blade of the hook of the claw could be sharpened, but it would take a little bit of work, you reckon? You'd need something to sharpen it with. Like, you know, a reasonably flat stone would do in a pinch, but it'd just take a bit.
Okay, I'm going to fish into my half-assembled kit bag. I think we established I need a luck roll to see whether or not I have applicable tools for any job.
So, as I understand it, about half of the of your engineer's tools went in the sea. You still have half of them. So essentially, we're flipping a coin here to see if your set of files and rasps ended up in the sea.
Pretty much. So is this just a straight D20 roll for luck?
Straight D20. 1 to 10, you don't have it. What's our result?
No bueno.
Yeah, so you like search through like the tool bag that you've got with you. Like screwdriver, spanner, several drill bits, spare cables for a plasma cutter, but no files, unfortunately.
What about the drill for the drill bits?
So I think you can give me a luck roll for the drill.
Oh no!
I think I think that I probably don't want to get too granular with rolling on this all the time. I think what we'll say is with that D20 roll, that luck roll, we'll decide that you don't have an appropriate tool to solve this to help you with this problem right now.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm gonna fish around. It's like I've got nothing, guys.
We looked at the claws to see if we can use them to cut. We did take a few teeth, though. I'm thinking that the teeth towards the middle of the T-Rex's mouth, are they sharp enough?
Yeah. So I think Rory rolled very well on his survival check to butcher the creature.
Yeah. It was in the 20s.
Yeah. So I think the looking through the rest of the material from the T-Rex, you can see that there are particularly around the incisor sort of area, there are some teeth that have a bit of an edge to them. They're not as big as the claw by any means. Like, the teeth are only a few inches long. I say only a few inches long. That's fucking enormous for a tooth. They're only, but it's the sort of blade that you might hold in your hand and cut things. So it's not going to be as good a tool as the claw is if you can get the claw sharpened. But it would be an easier tool to get into working order as it's already reasonably sharp. You just need to refine the edge.
I think if we've got enough teeth for each of us to have a tooth, we're going to be better off than spending time putting the claw down and shaving the claw off.
We could make a Hawaiian-style sword, where you mount the teeth in the side of a piece of wood and use it as kind of, they use obsidian, I believe.
Yes,
Aztec one, yeah. An Aztec begins with a K, I think.
I think it's called like a macahoitl or something like that. If anybody knows the proper pronunciation, as I'm sure I butchered it, feel free to...
Answers in the chat, please, guys.
Feel free to link it in the chat. But yeah, you could do something like that. Like, it would be quite a bit of work. You'd need to find something to use as a glue. You'd need to find something to, because it's quite a complex piece of wood that you'd need, like quite a complex wooden structure to house the teeth. But it's definitely something you could build. It would be a few days' work though. Like, it's not something you can just whip up in a few minutes.
I think that's something for a next stop then, because they sound pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be an amazing tool to have on this, especially going through dense forest. But it's going to take far too much time.
Yeah. So as a group, what do we think for cutting these ferns down then. Resounding answers all round.
How far have we got to go? Because it might be worth spending some time trying to find a way to turn this one of these claws into a some sort of machete. If we've got a while to go, but if it's not gonna benefit us in the long run to this one location, I think we should just try and push through.
Yeah.
In terms of
Rary,
how far
how tall are you? I was just going to say, how tall is Rary and how high can you jump? Can you see over the ferns?
I'm 7 foot-ish. I could jump, but it'd be better if someone just climbed a tree. I've still got a broken arm. I would happily climb, but not injured like this.
Okay. Garrick, can you look after little drummer boy?
Of course.
Yeah. So yeah, I think little drummer boy climbs down off your back. I think that if you you're not in any time pressured environment, you've not, and there are plenty of branches on this tree. It's not like the trees on the beach, which were just nothing until the top. So I don't think it'll be a check to climb up one of these trees. I think it's easily done. No sprained ankles this time. But yeah, you're able to climb up the tree. Looking out forwards, past where these ferns are. I mean, there's plenty of ferns behind you as well. This is just the point when it was collectively decided that it was getting a bit ridiculous. Looking outwards over them, you really can't see that far because you can see over the ferns, so you can see further than if you were just stood on the ground. But the space up here isn't especially clear either. There's of course the trunks of the trees, but also there are branches sticking out over the tops of the ferns, and also a number of leafy vines as well that seem to hang down from the branches as well in this area. You would note as well that there are quite a few spider webs, not in the ferns, they're above the ferns, but there are these big arching, very ornate looking spider webs that have been that presumably spiders have built in the height between the ferns where you are up to 10 feet, and then between the 10 and 20 foot range. So below the canopy but above the fern cover. There's a lot of spider webs there as well, which again are contributing to the obscured view.
How thick are the strands of the web?
Not especially thick.
Okay.
You can mostly see them because they've got bits of detritus stuck to them. But they're pretty thick. You imagine it's a pretty big spider that made them, but no bigger than that big maybe. It'd be a big spider. You wouldn't want it crawling on you at night, but it's not a giant spider, capital G, capital S.
Yeah, that's what I was slightly worried about. If you were going to start describing the web as being made from something as thick as steel cables, I'd have been straight back down that tree. Yeah, I'm gonna just keep going and do my best not to disturb the web if I can, because spiders are still dangerous.
Yeah, just because it's not a giant spider doesn't mean it won't mess you up.
Yeah.
It just so happens that there aren't really any there's not really any webs on this particular tree, so you're okay.
Yeah, I'll just keep going to the top. What do I see? To give an idea of how far we need to go with all the ferns and stuff.
Yeah, so getting up to the top, going further up, you find yourself in the canopy, and obviously you can't see the ground anymore because you're in the canopy. If you were to keep climbing further up, right up to the very top of the tree, then you might be able to peek out above the canopy, but you wouldn't be able to see the ferns because you'd be above the canopy. It's very difficult to know just from looking how far back these ferns are going to go. Really, you'd want the way that you'd normally deal with this is to hire a guide who knows the area, but the guide you have at the moment doesn't speak. So he's of limited usefulness here, unfortunately.
In that case, I'll go to the top and see if I can get an idea of how far the forest is going, because we're aiming for the mountain.
Yeah. So it looks like you're on course by the look of it. The mountain looks quite a bit bigger. If you were just walking, down a street, it looks like it might be about 2 hours walk away or so. You'd be keenly aware that it'd probably be about a 10-minute drive. But it doesn't seem too far. Going through this very, very dense undergrowth though is going to be a lot more than 2 hours.
Okay. With that, I'll go back down, slowly and carefully, still avoiding the spiders.
Sure.
And if those vines have particularly colourful leaves, avoiding that too.
Sure. Yeah, the vines, they're kind of leafy, but looking at the leaves on the vines, they're kind of brown and withered, a lot of them. They don't look amazingly healthy, but maybe that's normal. Who knows?
Maybe. I don't know plants that well. I've just heard that brightly coloured things are usually dangerous. That's about as far as my logic's going to take me here. But yeah, once I'm at the bottom, give them the lay of the land. About 2 hours, or at least it would be if it weren't for the fact that we had all this to go through. Couldn't make out how far the ferns went, though.
Okay. Well,
with it
if we
slowing us down,
Yeah, if we can't go round it or over it, I guess we've got to go through it, if that's the way. I mean, it'll make a nice soft bedding for camp if we get halfway through it and needs camp. So, there's that.
It also means that there isn't any big predators coming through here because there isn't already a path.
Good thinking.
Yeah, but there are small ones. Thick spider webs. Although I've got nothing against spiders, I don't particularly want to wake up with one sticking its fangs in me.
Then we'll have to eat them.
Okay, wouldn't be the first time.
We could eat the spiders. How big are they? Are they coin-sized? Are they dinner plate-sized?
Somewhere in between.
Oh, nice. Oh, that means quite a lot of protein. And if they are poisonous or venomous, I'll be able to make use of that.
Multi-purpose spiders. Sounds great.
Yeah. Well, you would be aware that almost all spiders are venomous. Almost all of them. It's just a question of whether that venom is. Well, they're almost all venomous. It's just whether that venom's dangerous to humanoids or not is the question.
Well, there's only one way to find out.
Yeah, I mean, is Rory going to go looking for one of these spiders?
I'm not 100% sure looking for spiders would be a good thing, but I guess if we walk and see it, then I would definitely get it then.
Sure. So you're waiting for an opportunity, I guess, rather than going to look for it specifically.
Yeah, I've never been one to run into danger.
Okay. Give me a as you're progressing. Then give me some kind of ability check to see if you can see if you just spot one of these spiders.
Let me have a think. Perception, I guess.
Yeah, not looking for one.
Yeah.
So my perception, that's 22.
22. Yeah, I think as you progress, Like you'd spot one of these spiders. It's like this particular spider. Like it's as you're moving through an area where the ferns are much less dense for whatever reason, just a fluke of nature. But it means the spiders in this area, is like their webs are slightly closer to the ground. You note that you can see the spider. It's weaving a web at the moment. It's got all the guide strands all ready, and it's just kind of going in circles right now. It's maybe 10 feet, 11 feet off the ground. The spider itself is it's got a very, very large thorax, the back section of the spider. You can see that it's got this kind of like long protruding spinneret that seems to be quite sophisticated. And it's also got quite these large fangs as well on the front of it. It's the spider is kind of like this like browny green sort of color, and it's very hairy. You would note that it matches almost exactly the color of the vines that are around here.
Nice. I guess I would kind of get one of our arrows that we've made, kind of thing, and kind of stab it with one of the arrows.
It is like 12 feet up, so it's closer to the ground than the rest of the spiders, but it's probably a little bit too high to just like reach up and stab.
Right. Okay. I'm struggling now. I'll point it out to the guys and go, "Hey guys, there's a spider there. We need to secure it so I can see how poisonous they are."
I think we'll probably run into plenty of spiders on this journey through the ferns. I think taking the easy pickings might be a better idea than trying to formulate a plot to get this one.
Well, this is the first one we've seen.
How were you planning on testing how strong the venom is?
Well, I've got a kit. I've got a full poisonous kit in my bag. You know.
Okay, I'm just gonna pat little drummer boy on the side, looking very suspiciously at you after some of your previous actions.
Little drummer boy right now is kind of like hunched down on your back, hiding behind you. Seems like he doesn't like the spider very much.
I think the fact that little drummer boy is hiding from it and he lives on this moon is enough to say these spiders probably aren't to be messed with.
Well, more reason to mess with it then. Like, their venom must be really potent. That might be able to take down a T-Rex, like enough concentration. Imagine just shooting a T-Rex and it collapsing.
Except, then it's been poisoned and we can't eat it.
I prefer to survive a fight than eat the prey after I've killed it, or it's killed me.
I mean, I can imagine a T-Rex. I mean, if it's strong enough to take down a T-Rex, imagine you getting bit by it, Rory.
Well, that's why I plan not to. And if we figure out how good the poison is, then we can make an anti-venom, I think.
I'm happy to support you on this strange venture. Let's do it. How are we going to do it?
Well, I can't climb trees. I look at Zitai.
No. I ain't dumb enough to do that, mate.
Okay, I think the best idea here is, can you throw an arrow at it? I don't think we have a bow, do we? Do we make a bow?
Could I grab it with Mage Hand? Would that work?
Yeah, actually, I think it would. There's no reason it wouldn't.
Yeah, I'll just Mage Hand and just grasp it and go, there you go.
I think gets near me with a mage hand. I'll get ready to stab it with a arrow, to make sure it kind of dies.
Yeah, as you grab it, like its little legs go mad as it's trying to search for its web. It doesn't know what's going on. It's been abducted by aliens. Yeah, you grab this spider. It's just about on the upper limit of how massive a thing can be when you can still grab it with Mage Hand, but it's within those limits, I think. So you're able to grab this spider, take it down, and yeah, it's trivial enough to stab it and kill it with the arrow.
Good. So yeah, I'll kind of milk it. I guess into a little pouch and poison the pouch.
Technical term there, guys. Technical term.
I'll also cut open its thorax to see how much silk is there, to see if I can use that as an adhesive for the blade.
Sure, like carefully dissecting the thorax. I think this is going to be very delicate. So I think this is going to be a survival check, and you'll probably want to be staying put for at least 20 minutes doing this.
Alright, if it's something I can't do quickly, I'll put the spider in it as it's... Oh. Are we going to eat the spider, guys?
No, we're not going to eat the spider.
Okay. I guess I'll just snap off the thorax and put that thorax in my bag, because that's the bit that's going to be important. And yeah, throw the rest away.
You throw the rest away. You've got a small vial of the venom. It's kind of like this viscous, opaque yellowish liquid.
Okay. That's going to be good. I wonder if little drummer boy will be susceptible to the poison.
But yeah, you're able to put the thorax in your bag. And notably, after you've finished handling this spider, you'd notice your fingers are a little bit tingly almost. But looking at them, it's just where the hairs of the spider have dug into your skin. It seems that the hairs are quite fine and are an irritant by the look of it.
Yeah, I think I would have been expecting that. But I don't have gloves, so
yeah,
that's life.
Yeah, that's how life is sometimes. So progressing on through the ferns. Are you guys just using the dinosaur teeth to cut your way through, or are you stopping to make a makeshift machete out of the claw?
I'm good with the dinosaur teeth. Happy to concede to the group if we think machete time is necessary.
I'm happy with the teeth.
Yeah, it'd be easier to make the machete at the base of the volcano because there's more rocks there, and we might be able to find a better one to make the machete with.
Yeah, brilliant.
Okay.
Onwards we go.
Sure. So yeah, you guys progress. I think if somebody gives me an athletics check, I think is most appropriate here to make your way through the ferns. I think that the teeth, they're not good enough tools to warrant advantage here, but they will speed you up somewhat. It's better than just headbutting your way through the ferns.
I'll roll athletics. I will happily roll athletics. Okay, it's a 5. Happily
Okay.
killed us all.
Okay, do you have any modifiers that add to that, or is it just a 5?
That was a 5 including the mods. All
right then. So yeah, the four of you kind of forge through the undergrowth. It is slow going though. You reach a couple of points where the sort of ferns you're going through, they have very kind of woody stems. I think Rary would note that it seems that these fern stems would make actually really quite good cordage, probably. But that's not great consolation when you're having to cut your way through hundreds and hundreds of the stems to progress.
I guess I'd keep a few of the stems we've cut then to use it as cordage for a bow. Waste not, want not.
Yeah. So yeah, they're kind of very, very fibrous, these stems, but you're able to cut your way through. You note that everything would get dark for a few minutes. That's about what you'd expect though, because the sun is passing behind the planet. So there is an eclipse every day on this planet at midday. but like the sun had passed behind the planet, then the lighting would get slowly more red and gold towards the end of the day, and you'd find yourselves. You reckon that you'd probably be about 2/3 of the way through this forested area. Like you're at the very least the ground isn't going downwards anymore. Like you're walking across like reasonably flat ground, so you're at least like a good chunk of the way there. But it's slow enough going that it's going to take you more than a full day.
Okay.
Are you guys making camp, or are you going to try and forge on through the night? Because the nights, if you remember, aren't especially dark here. The planet shine from the gas giant above actually casts quite a good amount of light at night. Not enough to be bright light. Everything's dim light, and it would be extremely dim light here on the forest floor. But it would be just enough light to operate.
I think it would be a better idea for us to find somewhere to make camp. Like, all it takes is one wrong footing and the sprained ankle gets worse, the broken wrist. I don't want to risk any more big injuries.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. If we want to make camp in the Kingdom of Ferns, we shall make camp in the Kingdom of Ferns.
Okay. So, little drummer boy doesn't seem to want to climb a tree tonight. He just curls up in a fern.
I think, yeah, I do the same. I want to cut a small pathway into the ferns, sort of enough, like 6 foot in, and about 1.5 foot wide into the ferns. And then I want to bend the adjacent ferns on each side to form a little enclosure around me. And then I'm going to sleep in it. Legs first.
Sounds good.
Make a little cordy barrier around myself.
Cool. Does anybody else have any particular considerations as you're making camp?
I like that idea.
Yeah, so I guess Zitai follows Calidus's lead on that one.
I think instead of like covering all but one exit, I'm just going to leave a side open for mine, so I can roll out rather than having to crawl out.
Sure. What about Rowie, Simon?
Rowie's not going to make a shelter, because if you make a dark little space, that's usually where dark little creatures crawl in. So if you're in the open, they'll probably just pass over you and not do any harm.
So, as far as I remember, you don't have any food with you, so I guess it's just ration pill time.
Yeah,
we do.
Oh no,
we've got some of the smoked meat from the.
Right, yeah. So are you having the T-Rex meat, or are you going on the ration pills?
Yeah, I think we'd need our strength for tomorrow if we're cutting through the ferns more. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we've got some water as well, so we don't need to purify water. But I guess we'll be coming to the end of that.
Yeah, I think that the vines you found yesterday that filled with kind of that water dense gel, you'd have enough for tomorrow morning, I think. But after that, you'll probably want to find another water source.
Okay.
So
tonight we eat and drink like kings. Kings of ferndom.
The dinosaur meat as you eat it it's pretty bad, to be honest, as meat goes. It's very tough, very fibrous, and not a great deal of flavour. It's all told, it's pretty terrible meat, but it is nutritious, and it will give you you'll have good strength tomorrow, as a result of taking in all this protein. So are you guys doing watches over the night?
I don't mind taking first watch and basically using my poisonous kit to kind of identify this poison a bit better, and sorting out the kind of silk glue kind of thing as well.
Yeah. Okay, so give me to work on the poison. Give me a poisonous tools check. I think it'll be an intelligence poisonous tools check.
Mhm.
10. Okay. So, look, checking through the poisonous tools. Like you have a couple of. So this poisonous tools kit. Is it from Ember? Is it a high tech diagnostic system, or is it like a case of you've got various things back home that you'll be testing this with? Like, is this a Tavali kit or is it an Emberian kit? It's not going to have any mechanical impact, I should know. Just for flavor.
Yeah, the poisonous kit I've got, I think it would be a mixture of Emberian and Tavali, mainly because obviously I was kind of learning in Tavali, and then obviously I've studied kind of biology and chemistry and chemical engineering kind of thing in Ember. So I'd have kind of picked up some tools and kind of added it to the kit, more than kind of just using the Emberian kit.
So yeah, you run a few tests on it. Like, it looks like, chemically speaking, it has some pretty potent neurotoxins in there. Looks like it'll act as a paralytic. It's difficult to say how potent it's going to be in the form it is now. It's likely that it's the spider uses it to paralyze small insects. So you don't know what effect. Like, it will definitely have some effect on a humanoid's physiology or a large mammal's physiology. But whether it'll have the same impact to the same extent is not something I think you'd be able to tell just from the test. Like, this isn't a type of spider that you have back home.
Do I find out if it's can be used laceration as well as ingestion?
It would only be laceration. This is a venom. I should be clear. You probably wouldn't want to eat it, but it is a venom, not a poison.
Well, that's cool. It's worth noting. And then I guess taking the kind of silk, trying to refine it as a glue and storing that too.
Give me a survival check. If you can, see if you can grab that.
Okay. So survival plus 7. That's a 14.
14. So checking through it, you open it up. You're able to extract quite a bit of this silk by the look of it. You find a couple of there are 2 large glands that are full of the stuff. It gels up very, very quickly once exposed to air, though. And you learn that the hard way opening the first sack up. It basically spoils all of the thread inside, all of the silk inside. And right now it's kind of they're kind of a gummy blob. So you wouldn't be able to use it as a thread. You'd need to the spider's spinneret for that. And operating the spider's spinneret as a tool just wouldn't really be possible. It's just not what it's designed. It's not designed for it. You're not the spider, but you reckon you might be able to get some glue, to make glue out of this, though. Like, in its form right now, it looks like it's gone from a gel to something very kind of crispy and crumbly quite quickly on contact with air. It's like the gel in the sack doesn't on its own just transform into the sticky silk by the look of it. It seems that there's probably some enzyme or some catalyst that gets injected into it somewhere between the gland and the spinneret in the spider, that changes it into that strong thread. You're not able to very, very quickly identify that part of the spider, though, and the spider's been dead for a while now, so the organs are a bit messed up, particularly after the stabbing.
Yeah, that's no problem. I guess that's going to be...
Maybe if you found some more specimens, or you did some chemical analysis on the thread, you might be able to come up with something to turn it into a good glue. Right now, it'll be a kind of alright to moderate. Like, it'll be an alright glue. It's not going to hold especially well, but it's better than nothing. But you'll need you can definitely see that it would be good if you can find that missing piece, that catalyst, that enzyme.
That sounds good to me. At least I'm like a step closer to getting glue. At the end of the day. But yeah, I think that's all I'll do for my first watch, as well as watching out for anyone coming, obviously.
Yeah, so the first watch passes relatively uneventfully for the most part. Towards the end of the first watch, you would hear this it would start quite dim but get a little bit louder. This kind of very low frequency buzzing, humming noise.
I'm guessing that'll be whatever those spiders are up there catching. So I'll look up, kind of thing, but not get too worried.
Yeah. The buzzing gets louder and then stops. You can kind of hear a stretching and a thrashing noise. Looking up, you can see that a very, very large fly has got caught in one of these webs. This fly is think football sized. It's kind of ripped through about 2/3 of this web. But it's kind of just hanging by some threads, its wings completely gummed up. The spider has darted down the remaining web with great speed and has stabbed it with its fangs. The fly seizes up almost instantly, and the spider starts wrapping up its meal.
I'll watch this. It's always good to watch nature. So yeah, I'll watch this and kind of note that that's the kind of size prey that these spiders knock out.
Yeah. And the venom worked extremely quickly. It was less than 6 seconds, I will say.
Good to know, good to know. So we can kill a fly if it comes to it, guys. Well, paralyse it at least.
Paralyse.
Yeah, killing it's a whole different ball game. But yeah, at the end of my watch, I'll next person.
Who's on second?
Yeah.
Zitai, cool.
Zitai.
So Zitai crawls out of his hole. Do you have anything you want to do with the watch?
Keep low, keep my ears open.
I think you wouldn't find that, and you wouldn't encounter anything during your watch. It'd be pretty quiet, the night watch. If you've not got anything specific, I guess it'd just be time to wake up the next person.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Who was on the last watch?
I'll take the last watch. Oh, do you want to take it, Garrick?
Yeah, I'll take it if you want.
Garrick's on last watch then.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's fine. Does Garrick have anything he wants to do in the hours before the sun rises?
Yeah, nothing too hard to do. I'm basically just going to keep watch. I do want to have a look at these mushrooms that I picked up.
Yes.
Just to see how they're doing. Are they going bad or anything? Or
yeah. So day before yesterday, little drummer boy identified some mushrooms that turned out to be quite psychedelic. You looking at the mushroom now. It's kind of gone all brown and floppy and flaccid. It looks probably it looks a bit grim, to be honest. It's been a full day and it's not been preserved or anything.
Yeah. Can I have a look at it in a kind of medicinal capacity here?
Yeah. Give me a medicine check.
I have a healer's kit as well, if that helps me with any of the tools needed. That's a 15.
A 15. So with a 15, I think you'd find that the mushroom doesn't have any discernible medical effects that you'd be able to find with the diagnostic tools available to you in a healer's kit. You scan it, you try whatever diagnostics you have. It doesn't pick up any of the common medicinal, the commonly found medicinal compounds in nature. Doesn't mean to say that it doesn't have medicinal uses. Just if it does, it might need processing first. Like with the tools you have available to you here, you're not really able to do a full chemical analysis of it.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, but that's all I wanted to do.
Okay. So towards the end of your watch, as the sun's coming up, notably, you would hear this kind of like low frequency hum, this buzz coming from deeper into the forest.
Yeah, I'll I guess see if I can spot whatever's making this noise. Like creep to the edge of where we're making camp or something.
Yeah. You would like you heading towards the noise. You would see there is a very very large fly, same as the one that Rowie saw earlier, which I presume has been the information has been passed on by Zitai. But it's a very large fly. It's kind of flying around and bumbling around like the fern level, below where the spider webs are. It's buzzing around like kind of sort of aimlessly by the look of it.
Okay. Like, is it just like a common housefly, or does it have like a long proboscis or anything that it could like? How does it look like it would feed? I guess.
Yeah. So looking at it, it does have some mouth parts. Give me a biology check. See if you can infer what these mouth parts will be used for.
A 13.
13. So yeah, it does have a proboscis on it. Looks like it would. Looks like it's probably. It seems likely to be a nectar eater. Most likely, like probably eats nectar out of large flowers, but difficult to say.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll leave it alone, and then when it comes, everyone's time to wake up. I'll wake everyone up.
Yeah. So as you head back to the camp, like you can hear the fly, like it's a kind of like fly buzzing around, and the buzzing gets louder as it seems to be, whether by chance or by planning, it seems to be heading in the direction of the camp.
Yeah. Is this on the kind of level that Mage Hand could just pick out the sky?
No, it's like football-sized fly.
Oh, okay.
It's a very very large insect.
Yeah. And is it about time that everyone should be waking up anyway?
There's like half hour, 45 minutes before the others should technically be waking up.
Oh, okay. I'll you know what? I'll just cantrip at this thing. I'm gonna cast Chill Touch at it.
Yes.
Neither of the two.
Yes, that cantrip that I love. Yes. Okay, so what do we need to do for Chill Touch? I believe it's an attack roll.
Yes, it is. I got a nat 20.
Nice, roll damage.
I believe it's D6, but I could be wrong. No, it's a D8. There we go. I sure have told 2d8 for this, shouldn't I? Plus 13 points of damage.
If it's not dead, we're fucked.
It is extremely dead. What does your chill touch manifest like, Brad?
So I think my hand would start like when like water goes to condense and it forms like kind of that wispy like almost that wispy fog-like effect. That would form around my hand before forming a second hand kind of beneath that, and then that would kind of stretch forward and swipe at the fly in the sky.
Sure. As you step out to cast your spell, it seems that the fly as you step out, it turns towards you and like comes towards you at some speed. The spell just absolutely detonates the fly. Its thorax just like crunches, and it just falls to the floor in a gooey, splattery mess.
Okay. Yeah. I'll kind of just prestidigitate the area, so it's like, if it is like lots of gooey mess, then it won't attract nearby creatures.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I best to clean up the area a little bit, and kind of just push the carcass off to the side.
Yeah. Now that the noise of its wings have gone, and it was substantially noisy. This creature, it's like a drone. But once now that it's like the noise has cleared off, you can hear more of them, but they're a bit dimmer. Like the sound is a bit quieter. They're further away, but there are more of them in the area by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I'll leave them alone. For now.
Yeah, you can't see them. Like you can hear them, but you can't see them.
Yeah, and I'll just go back to the camp. Wait till everyone needs to be woken up and wake them up.
Sure. The next few minutes pass uneventfully. Like perhaps the sound of the flies gets louder. Perhaps it doesn't. Could just be your imagination.
Okay.
But yeah, the morning comes around. It's time to move on.
Okay. Yeah. When I wake everyone up, I'll go. Yeah, it seems there's a lot of those flies around. One kind of wandered into camp, and I swatted it. But other than that, it was uneventful.
I wonder what it would want. It's not like it could eat us.
As far as I can tell, based on the structure of their mouths, they more feed on nectar and things, flowers, rather than living creatures.
Maybe it wants to talk.
Could. I'm not sure.
I'll turn to Drummer Boy and go, Buzz Fly Friend? Using my Speak of Leaf and Beast.
Yeah, so little Drummer Boy cocks his head to one side, then he goes. Puts his hand to his mouth.
I guess I'll look at him and go, us food or fly food?
He kind of cocks his head. He kind of puts his hand to his mouth as if to say, "You should eat the fly."
I'll nod and think, what a terrible idea that would be, because it's a fly. It's around deceased animals. It's going to pick up disease. This isn't good to eat such a thing. Well, I'll tap him on his head. Basically, it doesn't seem like it'd be dangerous to us, Garrick.
Okay. Well, we'll keep that in mind. If a little drummer boy likes eating, if we come across any more, it could be something we could use to keep him going.
Yes, that would be handy instead of him using our rations. Yes.
All right. So with that, does the group move on through the rest of the jungle?
Yeah, 100%. We go straight on.
Sure. So yeah, moving through the jungle on the second day. Can I get the athletics check again?
Zitai is going to lead this time.
Sure. Perhaps a good idea for the biggest and strongest member of the party to go first.
Yeah, I would have last time, but I was replying to the chat. But I'm blaming you guys in the chat. 15.
Yeah, so progress is a little bit faster today. You find yourself chopping through the vegetation quite handily. I think cowardice might swear that the ferns are just like softer and less cordy today.
They are. That's what it is. I can see him making it with ease at the front, and all I'm thinking in my head at the back is he's just going through easier ferns. Clearly.
Yeah. But whether they are or not, I suspect. I think we'll leave as an exercise to the reader. So you continue your trek for like a good few hours for the most of the morning. The buzzing of the flies is, it gets kind of steadily louder as the morning progresses. In fact, about halfway through the morning, you do encounter one of them. Once you guys get in line of sight with it, like it looks like it's kind of like moving randomly about, and then once you come, you go within, you're reasonably near it, it just starts making a beeline towards you.
Does this one want to talk as well?
Go, little drummer boy, go! Eat your food.
Yeah, like little drummer boy kind of, he like looks at it and looks confused, but he runs towards it. He limps towards it because he's got a broken leg. He makes a swipe at it but misses.
Cruel man, Simon.
It seems to be ignoring little drummer boy. It's coming for you guys.
Perhaps we should spread out and see if it's coming towards one of us in particular.
Sure thing.
Yeah. I take a 2-meter gap from you guys and stand still.
Yeah, like you guys all spread out. I feel it would like Marat. It heads towards Zitai, I think.
Okay. On instinct, Zitai's just going to try his best to punch it out of the sky.
Give me an attack roll.
Total 20.
No, not 20.
No, total 20.
Okay.
I'm not quite that lucky.
Sure. Yeah, roll your damage. You hit it.
Yeah, so that is 5 damage.
5. Yeah, like your fist connects with it, like caves like the top of its head in. It spirals down to the ground. Its legs twitching.
Does little drummer boy go and try to eat it?
Yeah. He'll just kind of limp up to it and he like rip its legs off one by one and slurp the meat out from inside.
I try not
I
to
will
throw
ruffle
up.
the fur on his head.
He offers you one.
One of the legs? Yeah, I'll take one of the legs.
Yeah.
We were talking about eating the spider legs literally last night. Why are you balking at this?
Yeah. As you suck the meat out of it, like it is absolutely horrendous. Like it is nasty. But little drummer boy seems to like it.
The difference is, Zitai, you roast spider legs with lots of spices. That's the difference.
Maybe, but I've eaten raw cockroach before. I was raised in slave camps.
And I thought I had it bad.
I'm just going to help little drummer boy back onto my shoulders, or on more as a backpack at this point because he's staying low with the spider webs, isn't he?
Yeah. Sure. So yeah, the group of you continue forth, hacking your way through the undergrowth. A little bit past lunchtime, you guys would note that the buzzing gets significantly louder. I think Zitai is leading, isn't he? What's Zitai's passive perception?
11.
11. Okay. So yeah, like you would, you'd note that the buzzing gets louder and louder, and like after a little while, like you find yourselves kind of coming to a clearing. It's the way it's less a clearing, more like just a bit less dense than everywhere else. You can see that there is a corpse in this clearing of a large dinosaur by the look of it. The corpse is a little bit desiccated. It's not really, there's not a great deal of meat left on it by the look of it. It looks like it was about the size of a horse when it was alive. But other than that, yeah, you can't see anything in this clearing. Though there is, there are a lot of flies around. Though somehow you just can't see any of them right now. But visibility is quite impaired, so it's not surprising.
Garrick, I think you were wrong about what the fly eats.
They could definitely be carrion eaters. I'm not the best at this sort of thing. It was an educated guess.
So, mad dash over the clearing, or do our best to work our way around and hope we don't encounter too many of the flies?
I think around, probably. I don't think being in open space where something has recently died is the safest option.
But there might be more teeth there that we can use for weaponry. If we clear this out, we can use the remains of the dinosaur.
I would like to look at the creature. It would give us more information on what's in the area too.
All I'm thinking is there's a reason it's dead in a clearing rather than the woods.
Yes.
Lightning doesn't strike twice.
I'll keep watch. I'll keep watch from the edge of the clearing.
Yes, it does.
Perhaps we take this slow. How about skirting the edge of the clearing and see if we can see any other tracks?
Yeah, good idea. Definitely a good idea.
As we're skirting the edges, I'm going to be picking up kind of solid, like throwing size stones if I can find them.
Sure, yeah, you can find a few stones. I think that's fine.
Cool. I don't have any ranged weaponry, you see.
I thought you had your blaster pistol.
Yeah, but I don't want to use that on a fly. That feels like a waste.
Fair. To be fair, I think I did make a bow last time. I've got a bow noted in my weapons, so it must have made one.
Yeah, like you might have made like a very basic, primitive bow, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty rudimentary, but a bow nonetheless. I'll keep watch from the side of the clearing with the bow. Yeah. No arrows, mind you. Although I think Rory might have some arrows.
I've got arrows, but not like I haven't put the flights on yet.
I'll keep watching my blaster then.
Yeah. So you guys are just moving around the edge of the clearing, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Sure. So like you pick your way around the edge. It's not too bad. You can get a bit of a clearer look at the creature now. It looks like it was a herbivore by the look of it. You can see the teeth exposed, or like it's more like a bone plate on the top of the mouth, a little bit like what a cow or a horse might have. To grind up reasonably tough vegetable matter before swallowing it. It's very very much dead. It's got holes in it, large injuries, but it's difficult to tell much more than that from your position 30 feet away from it.
How many?
Check it out, Rory.
Yeah, how many flies are currently eating it? None.
Yeah, there's no flies there, and there is still meat there as well by the look of it.
We can just kind of hear all the flies.
Yeah, they're in the area in force, but they don't seem to be particularly interested in this corpse.
Can you see any more tracks other than what look like they belong to this creature, Rowan?
Good question. I'll examine the floor like as best I can from the edge of the clearing.
Sure. Give me a survival check.
Survival. That is a 17.
17. On a 17, you would note there's kind of a clear set of tracks coming into the clearing, but only one. The creature, they seem to belong to the creature that's now lying in the clearing. It seems to... you don't know what this creature's gait is like normally, but its gait seemed to be very uneven as it was coming in. Like you can see from various bits of flattened grass and broken ferns. Like it seems to have been leaning on one side much more than the other. There are no other creatures that have come in or out of the clearing by the look of it, at least from a cursory glance.
Right. I think I'm going to throw a stone at this creature, because I think there's possibly that this creature is full of flies and it's been getting eaten from the inside out.
You throw a stone at the creature, it kind of like thunks off it with a wet slap and nothing happens.
Right.
I think
That was a better outcome than flies.
if you want to cover me, I'll slowly creep forward. That's the next
I'll come with you. Step where I step. I'll do it stealthily, guiding Garrick.
Well, give me a stealth check.
That is a 23.
23. Yeah, you move quickly and quietly enough. I think if Garrick is copying what Rowie does, Garrick can have advantage on his stealth check.
stealth isn't great. A 13.
13, yeah. So the two of you move, quietly up to the centre of the clearing, up to the corpse of this creature. The body is like there is meat there, but like a lot of the meat is missing. Like it is somewhat hollow in places. Does someone want to give me a medicine check or a biology check here to analyze what you have?
I can give you a medicine one.
Yeah, go for it.
It's a 10.
10. Yeah, so looking at it, like, it's difficult to say. Like, it wasn't like a creature didn't eat this. Like, it wasn't a creature of the same size that ate it. Certainly. Like, there are no like massive claw marks or bite marks here. The creature that there is meat missing though, so something presumably ate it or made off with it. It doesn't look like it's the work of a hunter. There's too many entry points. Like there's too many wounds on it for that to really be consistent. Like there was no like methodical extraction of meat or material from this corpse, so like it wasn't an intelligent agent that did this, most likely. But whatever did this to the creature, clearly killed it. But you don't think you'd be able to get too much more information. Though I think you would note that assuming that its blood clots at about the same rate that, regular, humanoid blood clots, it looks like it died a couple of days ago. It is starting to smell as well.
So with all the information we have, we can probably assume it was injured somewhere else, made its way into the clearing and collapsed.
Seems like a reasonable read on the evidence.
So, do you think it'd be safe to harvest from it?
I think we could probably spend some time attempting it, if we keep watch on the edge of the clearing. Perhaps if the rest of us want to hide out in the edges of the clearing, just in case. Perhaps only two of us stay.
Yeah, I'll happily keep watch while you guys go to Butcher Town.
Sound. I guess I'll start pulling teeth.
Okay. So Sure. Give me a survival check. You'll have advantage because there's the two of you doing it.
Okay. That is 24.
24. Nice. So you guys are making good progress on this. It seems like it's on its feet. It has these kind of like very short, stubby claws. They look like they're more for traction than combat by the look of it. So you can take those off it. The big thing that you'd note here though is that it does look like it was bipedal, this creature, and its back legs have these these quite long, very sturdy bones in them, like the equivalent to a femur in the human body, like the upper leg bone. But it looks remarkably like robust, and because of the way it has a joint, because of the way its joint is structured at the hip, like there's a large clump of bone at the top, like this large structure at the top of the bone. They would make extremely good clubs. These two thigh bones.
I'll start kind of getting one, so as I say, I can have a club just in case he needs it.
Yeah. As you're removing these bones from you guys would spot a couple. Like there are a couple of flies that have appeared on the edge of the clearing, and they make their way towards you. They just as they kind of seem to be moving randomly, and then once they get reasonably sort of close to you, they just stop moving randomly and just make a beeline towards you.
I'm going to pick up a rock and pelt it at one from the side of the clearing. Try and keep you guys safe.
Give me an attack roll. From the very side of the clearing, I think you'd be at disadvantage. I think you'd be in the long range for throwing a rock there. But if you ran into the clearing and threw the rock, then you'd just be making the attack roll.
I'll stay from the edge.
Sure. So it'd be a disadvantage on the attack roll.
Okay. Dex mode for throwing rocks, I guess.
Yeah, I think Dex or Strength is fine. Whichever you prefer.
With Dex.
Nice.
25.
That book's getting stoned.
Another nat 20. Sure. Give me a damage roll. I think I'll give a rock a D3 damage. D3 plus strength.
Okay.
So it'll be 2d3 plus your strength because it was a critical hit.
Lovely. 2d3 plus my strength, which is nothing. So we're doing 2d3. That's a 4.
Or yeah, like the fly, there's a crunch and a splat as the rock makes contact and the fly hits the deck. The second one's still coming.
Zitai is gonna step out and throw a rock.
Sure. Give me an attack roll.
With strength, that is a 22.
That hits. Roll your damage.
That's 6 damage.
6. Yeah, same story. Crunch, splat. The fly hits the deck.
I'm just gonna whistle. Hurry up, guys. They're starting to notice.
I guess at that, I go, well, there's no need for me to continue. Garrick, are you all finished? Are you done?
Should be good, yes.
Right, let's sneak back to the others.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll sneak back as best I can to the others.
Yeah, I think we can just carry forward the previous stealth rolls. The two of you sneak back to your companions in the tree line reasonably quickly.
That was really weird. Did you see where the flies came from?
Just out of the tree line.
Yeah. I mean, judging by the low humming sound, this place is full of them. So I think we're lucky there's only two.
Yeah, so why don't we do our best to be where they're not?
I agree.
I don't like the way that they were charging us.
Yes, it was weird. Let's go then.
Straight towards the mountain.
Yeah, so you guys will carry your athletics check from before forwards, so you continue making good progress. I think so. Are you taking any fly-based precautions on the rest of the journey, or are you just continuing to make a beeline?
I think I've still got my tree-based suit on, so I'm still covered in leaves and mud and other stuff to blend in slightly. So I'm hoping the flies don't recognise me as much.
Sure.
I'll be hunkering down in the ferns a lot more as I'm forging a path.
Okay.
I think if everyone agrees with this, I'll press a digitation everyone just to clean everyone. So maybe it's a smell or something that's attracting them. I'll clean any of the pieces of animal that we've got as well, of any like blood or like bits of flesh still stuck to them. Do our best to kind of get rid of any dead animal smell on us.
That sounds like a really good idea.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay. Yeah, you do that. That's fine. That happens. But yeah, you continue to forge ahead. I think about an hour later, you'd note that the sound is only kind of getting louder. You seem to be moving into an area where there's just quite a lot of these flies. As you cut your way through with your passive perception of 11, as you cut your way through particularly dense section of ferns, and step out beyond them, you would find yourself in a reasonably a semi outwards a reasonably clear stretch, and in this stretch of forest you'd note that there's maybe 20 of these large flies all kind of buzzing around in random directions. You can see a couple, there's 4 or 5 of them up nearer the canopy that have been caught in spider webs and are now have been wrapped up, but the rest of them are just kind of flying around at random. Once you appear in the clearing, the ones closest to you start to just fly towards you. There's 4 or 5 of them.
Guys.
Yeah, as you back up and as we prepare to roll initiative, I think we'll make the cut to our intermission. We'll be back at 1:15. Stay tuned for to see if the party can deal with 30 of these flies, as they have dealt with 1 or 2 of them very well up till now. But we've been the 5e Frontier. Stay tuned. We'll be back in 15 minutes. Good evening. Welcome back, everybody, to the 5e Frontier. We'll be picking back up now as Zitai has emerged from a unusually dense cluster of ferns into a clearing in which there are upwards of 20 of these flies randomly buzzing around. A number of them have started to make a beeline towards him as he has emerged, the closer ones. And his first action has been to back up, make like Homer Simpson and retreat into the hedge. We've gone into initiative now. The initiatives in this game are all pre-rolled just to make sure things keep flowing smoothly. Unfortunately for our heroes, the flies have rolled a 20 on their initiative. Since there's so many of them, we'll just be treating them as 1 on the initiative step. So I think that the flies that are closest to you will make a beeline towards the time. I think they're not gonna really have a chance to do a great deal. but they'll be flying towards you, and they'll get up to you this turn. As they approach you, like they're not slowing down, like they're gonna try and like land on you by the look of it, like by the look of the way they're holding themselves. We'll jump on to the next person in initiative order, and Calidus is quickest on the draw with a 19 on the initiative. What's the plan? You can hear this deafeningly loud buzzing of these flies as they're coming towards you. You can see that Zitai is backing up, backpedaling back into the path he's cut through the ferns, and these flies are coming at him with great speed. What's the plan?
I am going to try and thin them out a little bit with a blaster shot.
Okay, sure.
So I'm going to go straight for that. So that's a 17.
17 will hit. How many shots are you firing out of the blaster? Because Emberian blasters, they shoot magic missiles. You have a dial on them near the butt that you can manipulate with your thumb that changes how many shots it fires from 1 to 10. Each shot deals 1d4 plus 1 damage. Each shot will also consume a charge out of the weapon's mana crystal, which are not currently replenishable.
I've got 27 shots left, so with that I'm going to go for a safe 5. I'm going to try and thin them out around Zitai.
Okay, cool. I should note we're not treating them as a swarm. They each have individual hit points.
Okay.
So you'll be shooting at a fly. Give me you got a 17 on the attack roll, was that?
Yeah, 17.
Okay, roll your damage. So it'll be 5d4 plus 5 plus your dex.
I'm hoping I can fire through them if I kill it with the blaster.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a difficult shot, but perhaps possible.
I'm going to sort of roll the barrel a bit.
Yeah.
That's the technical term.
Spray and pray.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for. And with that, so 21. 4, 4, 3, 3, 2.
So you, the first fly you hit gets just absolutely vaporized. Like all that's left of it is the wings. That kind of like fly off a little bit and then start fluttering down. Like the rest of the fly is just mist. Like Zitai might notice like a thin dusting of fly on him after this, but it'd be a very, very thin dusting. Most of the fly has gone. Unfortunately, blasters they're a burst weapon. Like it's not like a sustained burst of 5 shots. It's just like blah, and they're all fired. So it's very difficult to spray an area with them. A heavy blaster would be able to do this much better, but unfortunately, you don't have one of those. But you're able to absolutely annihilate one of the flies. One of them is very much gone. We'll send this one away. He's gone now. But yeah,
I'm gonna put on a show for them.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the rest of the flies don't seem to be remotely intimidated.
Well, it was worth it for me. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have anything else you'd like to do on your turn? Any bonus actions? Any movement? I
am going to move. No, I'll stay where I am. I'm in the group. We're okay. We're safe in numbers. I'm going to stay exactly where I am.
Okay. The next person up in the initiative order is Garrick, the party's magic user. Will you be using any magic this turn, Brad?
Yes, I will. I'm going to cast Scorching Ray here, so I can hurl 3 rays of fire, and I'm going to aim them individually to 3 different bugs, as I can aim them all individually.
Okay.
So I'm going to give myself advantage on the first one using Tides of Chaos as well.
Okay.
And I'm aiming for the 3 closest to us.
Sounds good to me.
So I'll roll the first one that has advantage first for a 25 to hit, and then I'll roll 2 ones after that. That's a 10 to 12 for the next 2.
The 10 will miss, but the 12 will hit.
Okay, so the first one will take 8 points of fire damage.
How many? Is it 3d6 on this?
It's 2d6 per ray, and I get
okay.
rays.
Yeah. Okay. Technically, you can fail to kill them if you roll a double one. So.
Okay.
Wow,
that's 8
we
and 10
know hit
damage.
points.
What's that? Sorry, Brad.
8 and 10 damage on that.
Yeah. You annihilate the two closest flies.
Then I need to roll for my wild magic surge just in code. That's a D100. No, I need to roll a D20.
Yeah.
A D20. Here we go. A 13. No, it's fine. All good.
Yeah. So yeah, you conjure up rays of flame. One goes wide and strikes the forest on the far side of this clearing, setting a fern to smouldering. But the other two rays, they strike true, detonating two more flies.
I'm going to back up a little bit as well, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to back up like 5, 10, about 15 feet.
Yeah, reasonable.
But that's my turn.
Okay, the next in initiative order, we have Rowie on initiative step 11. Simon, what's Rowie's plan?
So Rowie is going to take a stone out of his pocket, because that's all he's got as a weapon except for a blaster. And he's going to hurl it at the nearest fly.
Yeah, you're just about to be able to hurl it over Zitai's shoulder.
Yes, fingers crossed. So I'll use it as a ranged weapon, I think. That's what I'm good at.
I think you're looking at a decent distance here. It's perhaps 20 feet. I think right now, given the speed it's moving as well, I'll put you in a long range bracket. But you will be able to get into short range if you were to step up just behind Zitai here.
Okay, I'll happily step up. I'll move up to Zitai to make sure I can get that throw.
Sure. So give me the attack roll. You will not have disadvantage. You'll be just rolling normally.
Good. That is a 12.
Yeah, 12 hits. Roll your damage.
Okay, so we're going for the D3 for these.
Yeah, we plus strength.
Plus strength, which is -1. That is 1 damage.
Okay, so the nearest fly, we'll give him a red outline because he's taken a point of damage. The stone like clips it. Like you scrape off all of the fly's legs on one side of its body. It's kind of like dripping this kind of viscous goo. But the fly just seems to be completely unbothered. It doesn't really care. It just keeps coming.
Okay, well, for the rest of my movement, see those nice handy bushes? I'm going to continue into them and hide.
Stealth check.
That is a 13. That is not a high roll.
That's fine. So you pull yourself back into the ferns. Try and stay out of sight. Last but not least, it is Zitai himself, acting on initiative step 9, with the lowest initiative in the combat, unfortunately. But it's your turn. Your friends have protected you so far from the flies. What's your plan?
I suppose for now, Zitai is just going to make himself look like a target and take the dodge action.
Okay, cool.
No bonus action yet, and I'm not going to move away yet. So standing in place, just readied, because I know they're coming.
Yeah. Your suspicions were correct. It seems that the rest of the flies, while this was happening, have all started to kind of they started to looking at it. They started kind of vaguely emigrating in your direction, random, the random walk of their paths sort of tended towards you for a little bit, and then at some point they just make a beeline towards you. They've all reached the point of making a beeline at this point. They've got a 45-foot movement speed as they're flying creatures. They can move reasonably quickly, and the difficult terrain of the forest floor is completely unbothered by it. I think these two will get up close. Let me grab a ruler. So yeah, it's 30 feet for those guys, 40 feet for those guys. So yeah, they're going to be able to start like crowding around. I think the ones towards the back won't be able to get in, but there's quite a few flies here.
I don't like that there's one near me.
Yeah. So they're all very much starting to come towards you, crowding in. There's no strategy. There's no tactics to what they're doing. It seems that they follow a simple set of rules by the look of it, and then they just do that. But right now they're just coming at Zitai. Notably, a couple of them are going for Reri as well, even though they have no clear line of sight on you. One of them reaches Reri, in fact. But we'll deal with the. I can't really stack them on top of each other, but these I'll put them there on the intersections. But the 5 that will be going for Zitai, we'll roll them now. The way they'll be resolving this is just with an attack roll, and if they hit you, they'll grapple you, but you won't take any damage. So that'll be 5 attack rolls. You've taken the dodge action, so they will have disadvantage on this attack roll. Okay, so what is Zitai's armor class?
16.
16. So, fortunately, the highest roll there is a 14. So, he's able to duck and weave, like, bat the flies away once they try and land. You're able to avoid being landed on this time. As they go to land, like, you can see their proboscises, like, they twitch and kind of reach down towards you. It seems that they want to stab into you with their proboscises on their faces. But you're able to prevent them from doing so. One of them attacks Rowie.
Oh no!
Having just made a beeline towards where he's sitting. A 15. Does a 15 hit?
It doesn't. I've got 16 AC too.
Okay, so seeing it coming just at the last second, you're able to like scramble backwards, backpedal, bat it away. It hits the ground, then picks itself back up and comes at you again. But we got through their turn. Nobody's been hit so far. And we're back to the top of the initiative order. We're on to Calidus. George, what's the plan?
I think using the blaster last time was a mistake, but all for theatre. So I'm going to pick up a rock and I'm going to lash it at one of the flies. It's the least I can do.
Okay, going an attack roll.
That's a 14.
14. Yeah, that'll hit. Roll your damage. D3 plus your strength.
Just a D3 for me. That's 2 damage.
2 damage. So yeah, you find another one of these flies. Like you hit it with the rock. You crumple like part of the carapace on its thorax, the large bottle section on the back of the fly. It crumples and like it's leaking this green substance, but the fly still seems to be coming. Like it just doesn't really seem to feel it.
Okay, and then after doing that, I'm going to make a little. I'm going to step forwards a slight bit, just into Oh, there we go. Just slightly forward, so I've got a better line of sight on the flies for next time.
Sounds good. All right, up next in initiative order, we have Garrick. What's the plan, Brad?
So I'm going to step in line with Zitai here, going around Calidus, my 30 feet. I would like my Tides of Chaos ability back here, which means I roll on the wild magic table, right?
Yeah, roll on the wild magic table.
Cool.
Fireball setting on stealth. Let's go, boys.
Okay, so that's a D100. So that's a 31. Yeah. Let's find out what that is.
What's our result, Brad? What's a 31 do?
Should we have a look? A 31 is... Oh no. I'm transported to the astral plane until the end of my next turn, so I'm just gone for the turn.
Oh no.
I run forward, I go poof.
Yeah, he disappears into a puff of mist. We'll deal with what you... In fact, you disappear into a puff of mist. your vision goes black for a second, and then you just kind of find yourself in a very strange place indeed. The place you're in is it's a strange city by the look of it, made of a sort of browny green stone. It looks like it's not been lived in for a very long time, and it smells like damp. The whole place that you're in. You seem to be on a hillside in the bottom of a valley, perhaps, and the city stretches out in all directions around you. It's completely deserted. There's no one here, and it is utterly quiet. In fact, the only sound, it's quiet enough that you can hear the blood in your ears. It is that quiet here.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what would you do? You've got an action. Do you want to do anything when you're here?
Do my best to try and think of a way back. But yeah, I think
sure.
I'm just gonna be confused for a bit.
Yeah, that's fine. All right. Unfortunate roll there on the wild magic table. But we'll move on to the next turn. It's Rowy's turn. Simon, what's the plan?
Right. Okay. One's up in my grill, so I guess I'm going to take out one of the T-Rex claws and kind of use that as a melee weapon, which I'm absolutely terrible with.
It's not a proper weapon, so you won't. It's an improvised weapon, so you won't be adding your proficiency bonus to the attack roll here. But we'll treat it as a dagger for now, so it'll be 1d4 piercing damage, plus your strength or dex if you hit.
No problem. So it'll just be 1d20 minus 1 for my strength, which is a 12.
That hits.
Okay, and then you said 1d4 plus. Is it minus 1 again for strength? Yeah.
Yeah, minus 1 for strength. Yeah, I don't think it's. I don't think it's. If it had a handle, there might be an argument to be made for finesse, but I think strength is fine here.
Okay.
It beats a stone.
Do I get a sneak attack on this because someone's next to it?
Yeah. You do. Yeah, I don't see why you wouldn't. Zitai is within 5 feet of it, so that does meet the criteria for sneak attack.
Nice. 5
damage.
Hey.
Yeah, it scrambles up towards you, but you're able to you flip the claw around in your hand and plant it through the creature. It wriggles and dies on the end of this of the T-Rex's claw.
Brilliant. So now I'm going to run away heroically and hide. So I'll run back 30 feet because I know I can get back.
Yeah, sure. So you head back.
Do you want a stealth check as well?
Yeah, if you want to try and hide again as a bonus action, you are a rogue.
Yes. That is a 22.
22, yeah. You nestle yourself back into the undergrowth. There's no way they could possibly see you now.
Good. Got rid of one and ran away heroically.
Yeah. Okay. Last but not least, Zitai, you are currently being swarmed by them. Somehow you've managed to keep them off you for now. But will that continue?
I think at this point Zitai's gonna lose it. He's got this wall of buzzing in his face, and he just can't hold his focus anymore. And as a bonus action, I am going to rage.
Sure, rage happens.
And then I'm just going to start swinging.
Okay, give me an attack roll.
That's a 19.
19, that'll hit. Roll your damage. In fact, I'm pretty sure you can't not kill one especially with the +2 damage from rage.
That, and with me being Path of the Zealot as well, I get radiant fists. So that's a lot of damage to an individual fly.
Yeah, let's roll the damage to see how much you do, just out of interest.
Yeah, so that is 1d8 because of the unarmored fighting style, and then plus an extra d6 radiant plus 3, 5, 7. So yeah, Zitai punches like a freight train and does 14 points of damage to the nearest fly.
Yeah, sure. You punch the fly. It just splatters on your fist, and as you withdraw your fist, like it's almost smoking. The remains of the fly having been thoroughly banished from it. Unfortunately, though, looking at it, like you punch one down and two more take its place.
Oh no, the hydras.
Anything else?
Hydras, if you will.
No. Zitai is now not thinking. He is here for the duration.
Sure. That's fine. Right. So it's the fly's turn now. So one of the flies follows Rewi. And just seems to make a beeline for where you are.
Oh, this is just not fair.
It just keeps coming. However it's detecting you, it's clearly not by sight or sound, because there's no way that could have seen you. There's pretty there are very few people that would be able to find you here, and people are smart. The flies are many things, but smart is not one of them. They seem to just be, they're not thinking, they're just doing.
Damn it, guys! They can smell fear.
I think a few more will be joining you there. Will be joining you there, I'm afraid, Jord. Marat, sorry. Notably, I think a couple of them will head over to pay Cowardice a little visit, and one of them just kind of flies in circles around where Garrick disappeared. It just flies straight towards him, and then does circles where he disappeared.
Strange.
So yeah, I'm going to make some attack rolls now. So we'll do Zitai first. So you got 2, 4, 6, 7. Okay, so it's what was it, 16 AC, was it?
Yeah, it was.
So that's 2 hits. So 2 have now grappled you. They've managed to land on you. I will colour them in blue there, so we can see which ones it was. So yeah, they've landed on you, and they managed to sink their proboscises into your skin. Like it stings a bit, but they don't really seem to be doing you any significant damage, to be honest. But it does sting though. I'll make an attack. 2 attacks against Cowardice now. 1 hit by the look of it, with a 20 there.
Yeah. One did not hit.
And a 21 against Rowie. So it seems like everybody's taken a hit or 2 there. So yeah, it manages to as you're scrambling back from this fly as well, it manages to gouge you in the ankle with its proboscis, but it doesn't really hurt that much. It doesn't really do you much damage. So we're back to the top of the initiative order. At the top of the initiative order, of course, I have Cowardice.
I'm just gonna have to make a swing at one of these flies. I'll pick up a rock and bash it on the head. The one that's currently injecting. Outjecting me.
Exjecting.
Exjecting. It's trying to exject me, and I'm not happy with it. So I'm going to hit it with a rock, as any sane person would do.
Sure. Give me an attack roll.
It's not going to be great, but
I should note, by the way, you guys do have that club that you made while you were on the beach from that knobbly root, and you also have the thigh bone of that dinosaur that you just harvested, which can also be used as a club.
I'm going to assume with my attack roll that I'm not carrying one of them, as I've just got a 10.
10. Yeah, so you take a swing at this fly, but you clank off its carapace. It seems reasonably tough. It seems to as you go to swing at it though, it kind of drops off on its own and just dies.
I'm horrified that it might have laid eggs in me right now.
I mean,
I have a big witch.
A fair thing to be horrified about.
A big witchy grub growing in me, aren't I? Or a bot fly. These are fucking bot fly, aren't they? Great. Thailand all over again.
Yeah.
That was my thought.
Yeah. So this fly is dead. It's not through not through the blow from the stone. It just seems to have given up the ghost.
Can I as a bonus action amputate my leg?
Unfortunately, I think that's unless you have a self amputation class feature that allows you to do that as a bonus action, it might be a more of a significant undertaking than that.
I'm regretting
You should have
not
gone
going some
lizard
kind of. I was just going to say that I'm regretting not going a lizard folk character right now. Yeah, I'm just going to live with my impregnated leg then.
Sure. Okay, so the next one up is Garrick. Garrick rematerializes. You're gone from that strange city. There's a fly buzzing around you.
Okay.
You can see that Zitai particularly is looking like he's getting a little bit overrun.
Okay. Yeah. Can I get on the ridge just to my left there? Can I climb up there?
Yeah, you could scramble up there, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'll do that. So if the one attacked, one of them would get an opportunity attack. If I want to try and stay threatened by the one of them.
Yeah, I think that as you move away from it, like it doesn't seem like they can react fast enough to do that sort of thing. Like it's not going to be able to opportunity attack you by the look of it.
Okay.
Like it doesn't really react to you moving, though it does turn to follow you. You'd know, but it's not going to be able to opportunity attack you.
Okay. I'm gonna shout down to Zitai. Sorry about this, and I'm just gonna cast Rouse Binding Ice over him.
Yeah, sure.
30-foot cone. So it will hit kind of everything in front of me.
Yeah. So I guess that'd hit everything. You could angle it such that it hits everything there, like everything apart from Cowardice, Rowie, and the fly that bit Rowie.
Cool. Yeah, everything there needs to make Constitution saving throws for.
Okay. How much damage is this going to do, Brad?
It's 3d8 or halved if they pass it. So minimum of what, 1.5.
Okay. Roll the damage first. 'Cause if it's low, then it won't. If it's high, then it won't matter.
17.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I mean, it matters for someone.
Yes, you need to make a Constitution save, but the flies are gone.
What's the DC, Brad?
Let me have a quick look. I believe my DC is higher than that, but I'm unsure right now. My spell save is 14, so meets beats.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So you're taking half damage.
So it'd be
What type of damage is it?
cold.
I got nothing for that.
So what? It's
8.
Yeah. And then I roll my d20 to see if I get another spell effect. No, I don't. Good.
I like how you got all the flies except the one that's killing me.
Yeah. Okay.
I already took that personally.
Oh, anything else there, Brad?
No, I think I'll just stay up there.
Sure. All right, we're on to Rowie. This fly has bitten you, stabbed you in the ankle. What are you going to do?
So, I'm going to get my trusty, dagger kind of claw thing out and have a go at stabbing this one in a panic.
Okay, give me an attack roll. No sneak attack this time, but it's still worth a try.
That's 15.
Hits. Roll your damage.
So d4 minus 1. That is a 0.
Oh, like you stab it bang on. You just glance off the carapace though, unfortunately. But the fly just seems to stop and also give up the ghost.
Okay. That's worrying. Yeah, I guess I'm still gonna hide. Like, just in case there's more that we don't know of yet. So I got a 19 on my hide, because this is weird.
Sure. So yeah, you hide. That's fine. I think we can go out of initiative now and back to the regular stream layout. I think now that now that there are no more hostiles in the area.
Brilliant.
Okay. Yeah, Zitai is just gonna look wild-eyed for a few seconds, looking for anything to hit, and realize that there's nothing there before gradually calming down.
Yeah. Like you've got a couple of like nicks in your in one kind of in your stomach area, one in your chest. But they're not serious. Like they stop bleeding within a few seconds.
I'm going to be checking out the nick on my ankle to make sure there isn't anything living in it now.
Okay, give me a medicine check.
Okay. Can I make that a survival check? Because basically what I'm going to do is cut it and like squeeze. So it's not really medicine, it's more kind of bushcraft, kind of make sure it's not infected.
Sure. I think you can do this as a survival check, but I think that until you get mad, like if you do it that way, it is gonna if you do it that way, it's gonna damage your leg. I think because you're not like doing it in the safe medical sort of way. Until you can get magical healing, I think your movement speed will be reduced by 5 feet, but you would be able to do it as a survival check in that case.
Okay, it's not worth reducing my speed that much. I've already got a broken arm.
I have got cure wounds. If you'd like the help of that.
And I could always look it over, as I am trained in medicine.
If you could, Garrick, that'd be great. You've got cure wounds.
I'm starting to get my memory back a bit more after the crash.
But my arm has been broken for ages.
Yeah, that's not a wound. That's a break. It's different.
I think you'd be aware that you could fix the broken arm with that. You just need to you need to reliably set the bone first so it heals up, right? But
yeah, I'm no good at that.
Yeah, but Garrick's a trained medic, so he should be able to do that. You've not got great facilities, but it should be good enough.
Right, I'm gonna let Garrick see to my ankle first, whilst just staring at Calidus in confusion about why has he never mentioned that he's got cure wounds.
I'm sure it was concussion from the crash, and me slightly enjoying the suffering of others. Combination of both.
So, Brad, can you give me a medicine check examining Rowy's ankle?
Of course. I got my Tides of Chaos back, so I'm going to use that here as well.
Yeah. You can give yourself advantage.
Yep.
Gonna banish Rory's leg.
It's only 4 it back,
Yeah. What was that? What was the result, Brad?
24.
24. So looking at it, you are able to. It's very very subtle, but as you open up the wound and probe into it a little, you can see that there are maybe 30 or 40 tiny little worms in the wound.
Okay. I will get my tweezers out.
Yeah, you spend some time removing them. You feel it's unlikely you'll have got them all though. So now that the wound's been treated in, you'll probably want to find some proper way of treating this. But whatever the consequences of this infection is, it will be significantly reduced because you will have removed over 90% of these larvae.
I have a healer's kit. If that has disinfectant or some alcohol on it, I might be able to use that.
Yeah, I think that will probably be rolled into the medicine check, the fact that you have that.
Okay.
You can disinfect it, but if they've already burrowed into the flesh a little, for example, then they're gonna be out of the reach of a standard battlefield disinfectant.
No worries. And yeah,
Gary?
I'll go around everyone and do it.
Yeah, I was just going to ask that. Could I be cured too? Because I'm terrified of this.
Yeah. It's the same story with Zitai, and it's the same story with Cowardice. Their wounds are infested with these little tiny worms.
Right.
Garrett, can you just burn it out? Burn it out. I'll walk it off.
Do you think that'd work?
So it would be, so you could try and cauterize the wounds. It would probably be more effective than just a plain disinfectant. It would be absolutely horrendous though. Until those wounds healed properly, I think you'd be on the first. Given that you've got 2 of them and they're on the torso area, I think we'll model that like exhaustion. I think you'd have 1 level of exhaustion for the next few days until it heals up, starts to heal up properly.
I have got something that we can knock you out with.
I'm gonna point to the wound. I'm gonna point to the wound I have on my. I assume it's thigh area or something. I'm gonna point to it and I'm gonna look at little drummer boy and I'm gonna make the eat symbol to little drummer boy.
No.
To see if he can pick them out and eat them. I mean, he might be hungry.
No.
From my wound.
No.
I did say no.
We're not having.
Pointing.
He didn't even help in the fight.
Yeah,
little drummer boy.
Yeah, he kind of looks at your wound and then looks at you. Then he looks at the wound, then looks at you, and he's completely and utterly confused. Then he reaches up to your head and starts rustling around in your hair.
Can I reach into the wound myself to pull out a maggot to show him, and then do the eat?
Yeah, he kind of looks at it and then it doesn't seem to be very interested in it.
Oh, more food for me then. Thanks, monkey.
You go eat it.
I'm not going to eat it. I'm going to throw it away.
Okay.
I'm just telling the monkey he's lost out.
Sure.
As part of my Firbolg magic, I can disguise myself, right? If I disguise myself as something without a leg, will the maggots go, what the fuck, and just leave?
It doesn't actually change you, it's an illusion.
Yeah, but the maggots are idiots,
I assume that your leg is still part of you whilst you're morphed into whatever you're disguising.
Are you going ahead with the cauterization procedure on Zitai? If you do, it'll be for the next 3 days. You'll have minimum 1 level of exhaustion, and it'll be I think a D6 fire damage per wound is fair here.
Yeah,
but that'll heal not like normal hit point damage.
I'll advise against it, but I'll say I'll do it if you really want me to.
Burn them out.
Okay.
I'm not having those fuckers hatch out of me. No, just burn it out.
I'll burn it out.
Sure. I think
2d6 fire damage.
Yeah, I think that's fine. You don't need a roll for it, but this extreme measure will almost certainly remove all of the parasites.
Wow.
Any more before I put the fire stick away?
No, I'm thinking of just putting some of the paralyzing stuff on me and hoping that'll kill it.
You're going to put the paralyzing stuff inside an open wound.
Yeah, it's gonna knock me out for a bit. I know that much. And for a bit, I don't know how long, so I'm not really willing to risk it. But this thoughts.
At seeing these considerations and the burning of Zitai's flesh, I'm all on board for becoming part maggot right now. I am the maggot man. I will carry on in this way.
Okay. Let's hope you don't end up like that dinosaur you saw in the clearing.
Yeah, I am their home now.
Yeah. This is after the standard removal, right?
Yeah. I'm not leaving the lot in there. I've got 10% maggots going on here.
I think every time I walk, I'm going to be shaking my foot, hoping a few more fly out.
But yeah, as you continue on, because what else is there to do? You'd note that like the wounds, like you can't feel them anymore. Like it seems likely that there's some sort of anesthetic that was administered as well, along with the parasites. But like, I mean,
very kind of them.
I mean, Zitai can feel his wounds.
Speaking of, Brad, can you roll that fire damage for me?
A 4.
Well, that's not so bad.
Yeah. But yeah, Zitai can very much feel his wounds.
Exhaustion, that.
Yeah, the other two of you, like, you just, when you touch that area, you just kind of get a vague tingling. But there's no pain at all.
It was very kind of them to administer anaesthetic before doing this procedure on us.
You imagine it's likely just to stop the creature that they stab from itching it.
Yeah, I'm probably going to itch it in that case.
Yeah.
But I'm going to pay a little attention whilst I'm walking and carrying on, just to, if any maggots come to the surface, I will take them out in the hopes of lessening whatever's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think I do want to check on the wounds every couple hours at least.
Sure. I think today you won't see any changes as you check every couple of hours.
Okay.
But it is known that you are checking every couple of hours, but you won't see any change.
Of course.
What if I turn invisible? Will it be easier for you to see them then?
I think they would count as carried objects.
Damn it.
Yeah. I'm not getting into what happens to all of like your gut microbiota and like face bites and things like that if people go invisible. Like, I'm not getting into that, so these guys go invisible too.
God damn it.
So yeah, with the encounter with the flies over, the majority of them having been frozen to death by this cone of cold. Well, it's not cone of this Poundland cone of cold, shall we say? You guys keep heading towards your destination of this mountain. As you continue and the terrain you're moving through starts sloping upwards, the foliage becomes less and less dense, and you start being able to move reasonably quickly again. By the time midday comes around and everything goes dark for a couple of minutes, you're finding that actually you think you're coming to the edge of the forest now. The trees are starting to get very sparse, and the ground is moving from being this kind of like muddy clay soil to being more shale, stony shale sort of ground, and it's starting to get very, very steep as well. Think like regularly it's at least 45-degree inclines that you're going up now as you start climbing. Normally, like, you know, going up a 45-degree incline for this long on Ember or on Earth would be punishingly difficult. But on this low gravity, like, it's manageable, and your few hours of traversing up the slopes of this mountain is, you know, it's still a hell of a workout, but it's manageable. It's manageable. I think anybody in reasonable health would be able to do it. So, as you head up the side of this mountain, I think you would, before you get to like the proper edge of the forest, so there are still trees around, but you would note that there seems to be, just on your left, a little way away, you'd note like a strangely square stone, and then you see another and another. I think it would probably be Railway that spots this as the four of you are moving forwards. But actually, like, those look like bricks. They are deliberate. Like, stones don't just form in like cute, like, you know, rectangular brick shapes. Like, these are stones that have been carved into the shape of bricks. This is the first out and out sign of civilization you've seen here. It's just some mossy bricks covered in lichen off to your left, but you do spot them out the corner of your eye. Like, they stand out enough as being man-made that, you know, they're noticeable.
Okay, I think I'd like stop the group kind of thing and go, right, guys, we need to search this area. If there's sign of man-made material here, there could be a shelter.
I'm good
So
for a
what, we
quick
follow
search.
We follow the mossy brick road.
Yeah.
We're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. Up we go.
Okay. So you move off to the left to examine these the area around these bricks. Then I assume. Yeah. So, like, you would see here that now that you're here, I think, can you give me some kind of either a perception check or a history check? I think, to examine the area. History to be representing the archaeology that you're doing by glancing over the area.
I am very much.
Either of those roles will be acceptable.
I'm very much not the archaeologist, so I'm going to have to go for a survival roll.
I can give a history check if that helps.
Yeah, you can do a perception check or a history check, or both from different sources. Both will yield different information.
So I got a nat 1 for an 8.
I got a 12.
Okay, so with an 8 on the perception check and a 12 on the history check, I think the two of you looking around, you'd note that there's, like, you're on this 45-degree slope-ish right now, and you can see where the bricks are. There's kind of like hollows back that seem to have been like almost cut into the slope near where the bricks are. And looking around, you can see maybe 9 or 10 similar like little divots into the side of the mountain. The bricks, you can see like there's like there are like whole bricks still. There's maybe like 10 or 11 of them. In various but they're not stacked on top of each other anymore. The walls that they once presumably made are long gone. But you can also see like a number of like half bricks just kind of like dotted around in the landscape as well. They seem to have been here a very long time though, as you know, there's significant lichen growth covering them, and lichen grows very, very slowly. It doesn't seem that there's anything current here. Like, if you had to guess, like, if this was a settlement, it hasn't been inhabited for at least hundreds of years.
No worries. I guess I would still look around in these crevices that you've mentioned to see if there's any tools lying around, because any tool is better than no tool.
Yeah. So as you kind of like search around, maybe like dig down into like this stony soil, this shaly soil, you would note that I think there's two things that would come to mind here, or that would become obvious here. The first thing is that some of the stones here aren't stones; they're bits of pottery.
All right.
Like there's like, as you dig down a bit, like there are like chips of pottery here, of a kind of dark clay by the look of it, and there's also shards of plastic as well, like that you find. Like it's very, very old, very brittle. It almost crumbles as you touch it, but there is evidence of there were plastic objects here at one time, as well as like fired clay pots.
That is interesting. I would let the others know that there is some quite advanced civilization. They've got plastic at least.
That's kind of unexpected, really. Either this moon has quite advanced civilization on it previously, or we weren't the first ones to come to it.
Well, we were shot out of space. There has to be
There is that.
advanced enough to have those.
Yeah.
Be able to do that.
That is true.
It's strange that it's so old. Yeah, I mean, it could be an old civilization. It could be an old settlement. It could have been someone camping a lot better than we camp. But the plastics kind of throw me off. So to be abandoned anyway.
Civilization in the galaxy is very, very ancient. It's thought that civilization in the galaxy, or at least the Galactic Empire as it exists today, has existed for upwards of 150,000 years. It's been very, very, very old. Records going back that far are more myth than history. And it's very, very propagandized in a lot of parts of the galaxy, so Emberian historians really don't have a great deal to go on from that far back. But coming across ruins that have both primitive pottery and traces of like advanced manufacturing techniques isn't necessarily unusual. Things like this could be explained by perhaps an imperial slave ranch. They are the imperial companies often keep local populations at very, very low levels of technology so that they can harvest them for slaves more easily. It's quite a common thing throughout the galaxy, which you'd be unfortunately all too familiar with as an imperial.
Must be a slave camp then, or something similar. But I say if it is abandoned, I mean, what time are we on? What time is it right now?
It'd be like, coming up to... It'd be just after the eclipse, so very, very early afternoon.
Okay. I think in that case we should probably make headway up the mountain, if we've fully examined what's going on here.
Agreed. I haven't found any tools, so let's continue.
So yeah, you continue like making your way up the side of the mountain. Within an hour, you find yourself properly out of the forested areas, and you're just climbing up the sheer side of the mountain. Almost, it is almost sheer in a lot of places. Like we're just like vertical or more than vertical cliffs. Either ascending those or going around them, like you're able to make a good pace up the mountain. It's easier going than the forest was. But more importantly, as you're ascending up the mountain, you're no longer in the forest, you are above the forest. So you're able to get a reasonably good view of the landscape around you from here. So climbing up the side of the mountain, you can see to your left. The terrain continues on for a few miles, maybe like 10-15 miles, before coming to the sea again. You can see there's a little bay, a little inlet there, where the inlet comes up, then goes around, then goes back across. But there's a sea there, and you can see that there is a river estuary there as well. It seems that a river flows into that little bay, from kind of like in front of you to behind you, that sort of direction. But you can only just see the very, very edge of that, like around the mountain. Like the physical mountain itself is, you can't see any further around there unless you went around the mountain. To your right, you can see there is there's sea to your right as well. There's what seems to be a large bay there, and beyond the bay there's more forested terrain. Behind you, you can see that there's the sea on one side, and on the other side continue on. It seems that you crash landed about halfway down a long peninsula by the look of it. You can see that the terrain kind of has its ups and downs and rolls. It's like a sort of like a little mountain, like a tiny mountain range that makes up this peninsula. As it heads down it goes on for perhaps 100 miles or so. Though it's very, very difficult to tell. You think on the edge of sight you can see another mountain much like this one with a black plume of smoke coming from it just beyond the end of the peninsula. The whole peninsula seems to be extremely densely forested as well. Beyond that, like looking just to your right, like down and to your right, you can see that the plains that you saw before, they stretch off as far to your right as you can see. Though you can't see a great deal unless you went around the mountain to your right, because the mountain blocked your view.
I advise us to go around the mountain to the right so we can see down the plains. As from the looks of it, there's no smoke of any crashed life pods.
Yeah, but give us 5. How often do you get a view like this? I haven't had one apart from when I first got to Ember. This is beautiful. And with that, Zitai's just going to sit down and take in the scenery for a bit.
I too would appreciate the view.
Cool. So yeah, you stay put for a little while. As you're there on the mountainside, it turns midday and the daily eclipse would happen. The whole landscape is bathed in this brilliant reddy purple light as the sun disappears behind the planet. It's properly it's properly ethereal looking at it all from up here. It doesn't look real almost.
Perfect view.
I'll be trying to kind of map it out on. I guess we haven't really got any paper. Has anyone got any paper?
I have no paper.
No.
You had a data pad before, but you did throw that one away.
Yeah, we can.
It's making a lot of noise.
Noise. I guess I'll try and kind of mark my backpack and make a kind of map on it.
Oh, no, you can get a crude, rough map. It's enough that you can remember kind of the layout of the place, but you're not going to be able to navigate by it very well, I don't think.
As long as I kind of make note of kind of artifacts, so this is where the water was, this is where the monkey people were.
That's fine.
Did we say there was no smoke that we could see from the top of this mountain, or
there is
still smoke from the top?
Yeah, you can see there's smoke at the top of the mountain. At this point, you're about halfway up. With 45 minutes, an hour, you could get to the top of it.
I think that's worthwhile. I'd like to go to the top of the mountain. I mean, from the top we can see everything, 360 view.
Yeah.
For an hour's work, I mean that's a good reward, I'd say.
Yeah. Stick to the plan.
Onwards and upwards.
So the 4 of you do continue to climb this mountain upwards. As you head upwards, after about half an hour, you start to smell this kind of noxious rotten eggs sort of smell, sulfur that you would all recognize. I think it's common knowledge enough to know that means this is very likely an active volcano. But it is what it is. If the smell gets too bad, you can get some quite nasty chemicals up here, so it's something to pay attention for. But you can continue to climb. It doesn't become a problem necessarily. As you spend another half an hour, 15 minutes, you do get to the top of the mountain. As you get to the peak, as it were, the highest point of the mountain, the ground descends before it rises again. It seems that this mountain does have a caldera. Looking down into it, you can't see any lava. It's not that active by the look of it. But it seems that there are a number of cracks and fissures in the rock in this caldera that are spewing forth kind of this dense black smoke. So it seems that it's if you went down into the caldera, then you might start to have trouble breathing. But as long as you're not in it, you're probably okay by the look of it.
Well, at least we know it's a volcano, no?
Work our way around the rim of the caldera a bit, see what sort of vantage we can get, see if we can spot the wreckage.
Yes, see what we can see.
Yeah. So, as you spend half an hour making your way around the circumference of it, and you would be able to get a good full 360 view of the landscape. It seems that the island kind of expands off in one direction. In a direction like almost away from the direction you approached the mountain from. It seems that as you're looking across the plains, to your left there is another large forested area, though it's a slightly different colour to the forest you just came from, presumably just a slightly different kind of tree. But you can also see that there is a very, very wide gap in that forest, which would be consistent with an enormous river that flows through it. The plains itself, just next to that forest, you can see there is a second volcano, just as large, if not a little bit larger than the one you're on, that rises up out of the plains, and off across the plains to the right of that. You can see it's just rolling plains. There are quite large hills in the plains in some places, and particularly towards the volcanoes, it's very, very craggy, with sparse kind of yellowy grasses growing there. You can see there's quite a lot of cliffs and crevices in that area as well. In the region between the two volcanoes, you would note that there is kind of this there's this large settlement, perhaps. It's certainly a collection of dwellings. It's difficult to make it out from this far away, but there are a couple of little plumes of smoke coming from this collection of dwellings. There's maybe 150 of these little dwellings. They could be yurts or tents, perhaps. But there's maybe 150 of them. By the look of it, there's a small river, a tributary to the massive one in the forest, by the look of it, that starts going down the slopes of the volcano opposite you, runs past this little settlement, and then goes off into the forest, into the to meet that river in the forest. Beyond the plains, you can see that there is some kind of lake, perhaps just about glittering on the horizon. And to the right of that, you can see there's yet another large forested area. That one's on the very, very far edges of your sight from here. You can't see any direct evidence of a large chunk of ship coming down on the plains. So unfortunately, there's no leads there, but there is that little collection of huts, a couple of huts.
So
I think
closer, the river or civilization?
There's a little river that goes through the village. We might as well call it a village for now. There's a small river, a tributary to the large one in the forest that goes through there, so equidistant, I'd say. But if we're talking about the big river that goes in the forest, I'd say that the town is closer by a good margin. The easiest way to get to the big river would probably be to go to the tributary and then follow it. So.
Okay. We're out of water.
Not a great deal of water on this mountainside.
How about we make a beeline for the water and then go see people, or whatever's left of people?
That sounds like a good idea to me. People means safety.
If we're lucky.
I think they could know where the Sojourner crashed as well. I mean, it's not every day you see a starship crash onto your planet.
We hope.
Yeah, we really hope.
I still think we should be careful about making contact. These people could be hostile. They could not be people. We're unsure.
That is true. But it isn't everyone's nature to be kind to one another.
I have 22 blaster charges that confirm that.
I think perhaps we find some water away from this village, perhaps that large river, and we don't just walk into their village. We try and find some sort of small group that are wandering about outside it. Someone where if they are aggressive, we can outpace them and get away, or if worse comes to worse, deal with them. If we walk into their village and we're severely outnumbered, they could just make us a prisoner, make us slaves. And I'm sure that's
I'm
not
with
something
you on this
we
one,
want.
Garrick.
Yeah. You can take the points on this one, Garrick.
Okay. So I suppose you start heading down the side of the opposite side of the volcano to the side you climbed, and start heading towards the forest to would just be to your left as you're coming down the mountain. It seems that the river isn't far into the forest, no more than like half a mile in. So once you get to the edge of the forest, it'll just be a short walk before you get to the massive river. So I guess you're just heading in that direction rather than heading to the tributary.
Yeah. If that's the closest source of water, yeah, because we need water.
Yeah, sure. As you guys reach the bottom of the mountain, about an hour after you set out from the caldera, I think at this point you guys will all be starting to get quite thirsty. You reckon by the time you reach the river, like you will be parched. I think it would be you'd be quite unpleasant by that point. But you're in no danger of like dying of thirst. It would just be unpleasant. As you reach the bottom of the mountain and you kind of start moving through this craggy, cliffy terrain around the bases of these mountains. You would find it significantly, even though it's very rocky and rough, it's much easier going than the forest was. And you're able to make very good time moving across the terrain. It's been a few days now, so those of you that aren't acclimatized to low gravity environments, you're starting to acclimatize well now. Like you're getting used to the sort of gait you need in the low gravity in order to like walk efficiently, like without tiring you out and while making a decent pace. I think the next thing that would interrupt the journey, the next thing that would interrupt the journey, I think, is one of you would spot. I think this would probably be Rowie again. You would note that very, very faintly you can smell that distinct sickly sweet smell of carrion on the air. There's like that smell of rotting flesh. You can smell it quite strongly from like it's very faint, but it gets stronger as you keep walking for a couple of minutes.
I'll let the others know. We seem to be heading towards some carrion. Obviously we don't know what killed it, but I advise we kind of slow down and observe so we're not attacked by those dreadful flies again.
I'm gonna
check my dead.
I'm gonna check my thigh to see if my fly hole to check if the carrion smell is me.
It is not. Like
brilliant.
I'm like
safe. Just worried.
Yeah, like it's kind of like healed up almost quite a lot now. Like it's just like a boil, like a bad spot, but you can't feel it.
Great, bringing back memories.
Would it help drowning the boils? Like, just like submerging them in water? Like, do these maggots need air?
Probably not. Flesh is healed over it.
The best way, out of character here, is usually to dock out a cigarette on them. The cauterization, the nicotine, kind of kills them and they can't live in it. But I don't think we've got any cigarettes in game, so we shall carry on without that.
Yeah.